Hey guys, it's me, and I'm going to be teaching you how to draw Rico from Just Cause 3. So for today's epic drawing tutorial, all you really need is a pencil, mechanical, regular, doesn't matter, and of course your handy dandy eraser for any mistakes you might have along the tutorial. So let's get started, gamers. What I first want you to do is find a good spot for Rico. We're going to make him an action-like pose. He's going to be jumping in the air, and his legs are going to be in a kicking motion. So for his first leg, you want to go ahead and make a nice cylinder-like macaroni shell shape. And at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and make the outline for his boot. Now, for the top of the cylinder macaroni shell-like shape we just made, make a nice little circle. This is going to indicate a ball joint. This is basically where his ankle is going to be, and from that circle, from the ball joint, we want to make his thigh, laying up to the crotch area. This is pretty much his pants. Now, his waist is at like a tilting angle, so his other leg is going to be a little bit higher up. And this leg looks like he's like, kicking right at you, Now, his leg is a little bit more different from the other leg we've made. It's going to be more, bigger, and it's going to have a bigger ball joint as well. And we're actually going to make the bottom of his boot, so only the sole of his boot will be showing for his upper leg. Now that we've done the pants and the legs, we're going to go ahead and do the torso. Now the right side of his torso will be protruding from the upper ankle ball joint that we made. And his right arm right there will be sticking out, holding in some kind of like a submachine gun in his hand. His other arm will be more lower down to his left side. And on his left hand, we're going to make like a fist. So, Rico, in the source image I have, appears to be wearing some kind of jacket. So that's what we're going to replicate here. And like I said before, we're going to make his left arm. This is going to be positioned lower, and his hand is going to be in the shape of a fist. So you can make just like a little oven mitt looking shape, or just squares, comic book looking like fist for the sketch. This is a sketch after all, so try to keep it as simple and symmetrical as possible. Don't have to add in too much details for right now. So I was making the collars for the top of his jacket right there, finishing up on his arm. Again, for the left hand, you just want to make a nice, simple, like comic book like fist, which basically what I mean by comic book fist, I mean like the fingers and the basic outline of his fist is going to be like square and like sketchy. Like, if you know what I'm talking about, look at like sketches of like comic book characters or superhero characters, and you can see what I'm getting at. Or you can just make simple oven mitts for the hands. That will work as well. And for the gun, I just made simple squares for the gun, just to indicate the different segments of the weapon he's holding. And right here, we're going to make an ovalish shape for his head. Just make a nice little neat. What I actually did there, I kind of messed up. I made the top of his head a little bit too long, so I fixed that. Make sure that you observe the source image. If you are going off by a source image, make sure you're kind of getting a little bit accurate. Make sure you fix up your shapes that are not proportioned right. And what I want you to do next is, after you make that oval shape, make a nice little cross going straight down the middle. Now, above the cross that is going across the face, we're going to make his two eyebrows. They're going to be angled. They're going to be like devious little sharp angled eyebrows. Now, down the middle right there, all the way down, but you're going to make and sketch out his nose. and below his nose. What I just did was just make a little line, a little frown for his mouth to indicate where his mouth will be placed. And as you can see right here, I'm forming his hairline on top of his head. So I'm just getting a good image of what Rico's hairs look like, and I'm basically replicating that shape on top of his head, and I erased the circle intercepting his hairline so I wouldn't get confused when I put in further detailing. Now, of course, you've seen in a lot of my videos before how to put wrinkles that you can see in clothing and stuff. And since this guy is actually, like, you know, jumping from the air, the bottom of his pants, the bottom legs of his pants are going to be a little bit wrinkly and stuff like that, because the air is just blowing through his pants and all that. So we're going to replicate that as well. So just form some wrinkles, some nice soft looking wrinkles on his pants. We're also going to make a few wrinkles on his shirt. And right there, what I just made is a simple shape for his holster, for his gun, right there. So, of course, make the straps like I did. There's 2 straps protruding from the holster that are wrapping around his leg. Pretty simple. And also make the buckles for that as well. I also finished up on the bottom shoe right there, adding the sole and all that. And I also added in the detailings for his pants, for the middle section of his pants, the crotch area, and also add in more wrinkles for the legs as well. Want to make these pants look as convincing as possible. And on top of his knee, of his upper leg, there's like a little patch ripped right out of the knee right there, so make sure you replicate that as well. Like I said before, only the sole of his upper foot right here is going to be showing, of his upper boot is going to be showing. So replicate the details as you see shown right there. It's pretty simple. Making soles of boots, or boots in general, is not really that hard. You just gotta pay attention and see what shapes and the sewing all lines up and where it's placed. And right here, we're going to focus on his torso. Now, Rico has a parachute. I did draw the parachute straps, but I felt like I should go ahead and scrap the parachute out. Now, that might not make sense since I made the straps, but I didn't really feel like drawing the parachute. I only really wanted to focus on Rico himself. So the buckles for the parachute is pretty simple. Just make a nice strap with a buckle in the middle and a little buckle down below it. And also make some nice wrinkles protruding from the middle of his jacket. There's going to be a t-shirt between the 2 collars right there below his neck. Pause the video. Feel free to pause the video at any time. And also, this is a good place to darken in your sketch lines and erase any lines that are intercepting any important big shapes. Go ahead and finish up on the arm. I went ahead and made some wrinkles on his jacket. And for the gun, go ahead and darken the outlines. And since my squares that I made for Rico's gun was a little bit sloppy for the sketch, which is okay. It's alright to have a sloppy approach to a drawing when it's a sketch. I just fixed it up and added in some little decals here and there, like circles and squares. And I also finished up and outlined his hand right there and added in the fingernails. Now, this is where we're going to fix up Rico's face right there. I'm erasing any messy lines. And right there, I almost forgot to actually make his cross necklace. So you want to make, this is optional if you don't want to make the cross, but he has a necklace that is basically flowing in the air right by the left side of his face. It's a nice cross necklace. Like I said, it's optional. You can make him without the necklace. It's fine. But I went ahead and thought it was appropriate because it's kind of like an iconic symbol in Rico's appearance. So Rico in Just Cause 3 is going to be sporting a beard. So I went ahead, fixed up, erased that little line, that little mouth that we made in the sketch, and made it a little bit more in depth and more detailed and longer. I made his bottom lips right there. And I went ahead and make the beard. Basically what I do, I just sketch small lines for the hair, and that's what I did for the facial hair. Now you don't have to make this look hyper realistic. This is just a little video game character. Of course, make his ear right there. Now, on his left eyebrow, just make just erase a little bit of it. His little eyebrow is kind of like split in the middle, as you can see. And go ahead and form his eyes. Make them like little football shapes, and then start to shape them out. Make them look more devious. And of course, below, you want to make the wrinkles below his eyes. And any wrinkles you can see in his forehead. We want to give Rico a nice stern look here. Want to make him look angry, determined. Someone that you don't want to mess with, you know. So in Just Cause 3, Rico is much older, so of course we're trying to, you know, add in more of that older appearance. And of course, for extra detail, add any hair like drooping down his forehead when, you know, like he's sweaty, he's like, you know, jumping out in the air from a fierce battle or something, or, you know, overtaking a cargo airplane or something like that, you know. So on the right eye right there, I actually had a lot of problems and difficulties with. Seems like when I make one eye, I always have problems with the other eye, but don't worry, that's present in a lot of other, you know, drawings. Right there, I went ahead and make his hairline, which basically is just make like wavy like lines. They're coming from his middle hairline right there, and just drooping to the top of the hair. We want to make his hair look slick, kind of greasy looking, if you will. Like I said, feel free to pause anywhere in the video. Be free to put any dark spots, as you can see in his face, put any like dark spots on his forehead or his cheeks, like I did. And what I did here was pretty much shaded it. Not too much shading there's not really too much shading to Rico, since this was actually the source image was a screenshot of him jumping out in daylight, so there's really not in broad daylight, so there's really not too much shading going on here. But you can add in a little bit more shading what the picture is actually giving you. I actually said this numerous times, but I can't stress enough. Don't add too much shading, because you know you don't want to add in an overload of shading. Okay, you know you just want to give a good helping of shading where it's needed, and where it's not, you know, just like leave it, because you know sometimes less is better. Now that I'm looking at it, Rico's head is a little bit bigger than I think I made it. But if that happens to you guys, don't stress about it. This happens a lot. It's a slightly a little bigger, but yeah, might want to watch out for that next time. But that's good, you know, trial and error. That happens a lot when you draw. So even I make mistakes like any other artist. So guys, that pretty much wraps up Rico. Now please tell me, was this informative? Was this helpful? This was requested by Spartan X, so thank you very much for the request. Hope you enjoyed the video and everyone that's tuning in. So guys, that's it. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys in the next video.